There are gods who lead the sun across the sky, and then there are gods who walk behind it, through shadows, through bone fields, through the places where light refuses to go. In Aztec mythology, one god embodies fear, transformation, death, monstrosity, and loyalty all at once. He is a twin. He is a monster. He is a guide for the dead. Tonight, we follow Xolotl, the god who ran from sacrifice, the god who escorts the sun through the underworld, and the god whose face still stares back at us through the eyes of a hairless dog. Welcome back, witches and wanderers, to the Morbid Witch Podcast. I'm your host, Kari, and tonight we descend into Aztec mythology to meet one of its most unsettling and misunderstood deities. Tonight, we're talking about Xolotl, god of death, lightning, deformity, transformation, and the evening star. Xolotl is not a clean or heroic figure. He is contradictory, fearful, loyal, and tragic. Where other gods blaze with power, Xolotl limps, hides, and shapeshifts. And yet, without him, the sun would never rise again. Xolotl exists at the edge of the Aztec universe. He is not a ruler, not a king, not a creator in the traditional sense. He is a threshold god, one who governs transitions rather than destinations. He is associated with death, sickness, deformity, twins, lightning, fire, dogs, and the underworld. These domains may seem scattered, but in Aztec thought, they are deeply connected. Each represents instability, transformation, and the breaking of natural order. Xolotl's very name reflects this discomfort. It is linked to ideas of monstrosity, servitude, and distortion. Something familiar but wrong. Xolotl is most famously known as the twin brother of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Where Quetzalcoatl represents creation, learning, wind, and life, Xolotl represents decay, endings, and what must be sacrificed for the world to continue. Together, they form a cosmic balance, light and shadow, ascent and descent. In some traditions, Xolotl is not merely Quetzalcoatl's sibling, but his shadow self, the part of the god that must suffer so that creation can persist. Xolotl is associated with Venus, but not as the morning star. That role belongs to Quetzalcoatl. Xolotl governs Venus as the evening star, the moment when light fades and the sun disappears below the horizon. This is a liminal moment, feared and revered by the Aztecs because it marks the sun's descent into the underworld. Each night, Xolotl escorts the sun through Mictlán, ensuring it survives its journey and is reborn at dawn. Without Xolotl, the sun would die. In Aztec belief, most humans did not ascend to heavenly realms. Instead, they traveled to Mictlán, a treacherous underworld ruled by Mictlán and Mictecahuatl. The journey was long and dangerous, requiring the help of a dog spirit to cross rivers and avoid destruction. Xolotl, in canine form, guides the dead, loyal even when feared. Xolotl is inseparably linked to the Xolotl Quetzalcoatl, the hairless dog native to Mesoamerica. These dogs were believed to carry the souls of the dead across the underworld's rivers. To mistreat them in life was to doom oneself in death. Xolotl's canine form reflects devotion, companionship, and sacrifice, even if it embodies decay and otherness. One of Xolotl's most famous myths centers on fear. When the gods decreed that they must sacrifice themselves to the sun in motion, Xolotl refused. Unlike the others, he does not step forward. Instead, he runs. This is not portrayed as villainy, but terror. Xolotl understands death intimately, and he fears it. As the gods hunt him down, Xolotl transforms repeatedly to escape his fate. First, he becomes maize, hiding among the crops. When discovered, he transforms into maguey, blending with the earth. Finally, he dives into water and becomes an axolotl, the aquatic salamander that bears his name. Each transformation is a retreat into earlier, more primal forms of life. But escape is impossible. Xolotl is eventually captured and sacrificed. Through his death, balance is restored. The myth emphasizes a brutal truth in Aztec cosmology. Even gods are not exempt from sacrifice. Fear does not absolve responsibility, but it makes the sacrifice meaningful. Xolotl does not die bravely. He dies reluctantly. Xolotl is associated with physical deformity, sickness, and abnormal birth. In Aztec belief, these were not signs of moral failure, but of divine proximity. To be malformed was to exist closer to the gods, closer to chaos and power. Xolotl governs what does not fit. Xolotl is also linked to lightning and fire, destructive but transformative forces. Lightning burns, splits, and changes landscapes. Fire destroys, but also clears space for renewal. Xolotl's fire is not warm, it is necessary. Xolotl was invoked during rituals related to death, disease, and cosmic transition. He was feared, but never ignored. To honor Xolotl was to acknowledge the parts of existence that could not be beautified or denied. Xolotl reminds us that fear is not weakness, it is honesty. He represents the parts of us that resist transformation, even when it is inevitable. And still, he walks the dark paths so others may see dawn. Xolotl did not want to die. He did not want to be a monster. He wanted to survive. And in that fear, he became one of the most human gods of all. Thank you for listening to the Morbid Witch Podcast. If this episode unsettled you, good. Some gods are meant to. Follow the podcast wherever you listen, and join me again as we continue to explore the shadows of myth, history, and belief. Until next time, stay strange, stay spooky, and remember, the shadows are always watching.